I wanted to express my condolences for the passing of your father. Since I heard the news a few days ago, I've been thinking about it and thinking of like how I wanted to reach out, what I wanted to say. And then last night I had a dream. And in that dream, there was call it another version of Earth, where whales migrated from ocean to ocean through a river every year. And at that time of year, it was like a cause for celebration. And humans that, lived in those areas would make pilgrimage to the river to greet the whales on their passing. And the whales were, clearly like sentient and humans acknowledged their sentience, and there was just an exchange of respect and an honoring that occurred. And when I got to the river, your dad was there waiting for me. And he was standing, on the bank of the river and greeted me as I was approaching. And he helped me down the bank, and he made me feel safe and welcome. And yeah, I think that's what I could say about your dad, is that he always made me feel safe and welcome. And I really appreciated that about him.
Kua hinga he tōtara I te wao nui a tāne.
My name is Rick Arnold, Rico to Tom. I'm going to have to read this in order for me to get through it. Tom and I have been friends for over 65 years. We grew up in Rumford, Maine. Although from different parts of town and backgrounds, we connected early on around sports, playing both basketball and baseball. I consider him my best friend. He was like a brother to me. We worked together at Lawrence High School. During that time, we lived next door to each other in a small trailer park. We both met our wives, got married, had children. He was the best man at my wedding. We worked together at Skowhegan High School. He made everyone he met feel special. His wit and sense of humor always shined through. The last time we were together in person was in August. We met at a restaurant in Farmington. Although there were several other people there with us, Tom and I were once again in our own little world, talking and laughing. I remember it as if it was yesterday, a memory that I will cherish forever. When Tom started feeling ill in October, we spoke frequently on the phone. Although he was really ill, he still cracked jokes, laughed, and fought to get well. When his hearing failed or started to fail in January, we texted several times a week. He told me how Debbie and the boys were there by his side working to help him. He loved them, and he did not want to leave them. His last text to me was heartbreaking. It had come to terms with his situation, said he was now in the hands of the big guy. He was saying goodbye. That was something I did not want to hear. I will miss my friend forever. Rest in peace, Tom. I love you.
He could capture a group of people like nobody I've ever seen. He had them right in the palm of his hand all the time. He was so good on his feet, and he was funny, and he could be informational as well as he grabs you so that you get excited. And he coached baseball, he coached basketball. He was a hell of a coach. Mm-hmm. And he could motivate people like nobody does.
He came to Winslow as the head basketball coach, and I had a chance to watch him in action, and he worked for us at basketball camp and was just a superb motivator and teacher of the game.
It was the summer of 1974, the summer before my freshman year in high school, and he had just been named the new head basketball and baseball coach at my hometown, Winslow High School. From the time of that first meeting until our last communication by text during what proved to be the final few months of his life, to me, he wasn't Dr. Farrell. He wasn't Tom Farrell. To me, he was simply Coach. What I didn't realize at the time of that first meeting is the significant impact that he would have on me and my life, and I know the lives of many of my teammates. First, playing for him throughout high school has provided me and my teammates with endless stories that have entertained us whenever we've gathered together over the years. In the interest of time and to protect the innocent, I won't share with you any of the details of those stories, but please know that it has never been necessary for us to embellish those stories in order to make them entertaining. Believe me when I tell you that the actual facts are much more entertaining than anything we could ever make up. On a more serious note, while we didn't fully understand it or appreciate it in the moment, he coached us in life. From him, I learned the importance of preparation, how to confront and overcome adversity, that achieving the goal was much more important than who got credit for the achievement. And perhaps the lesson that I have leaned on the most over the years, and I can quote Coach directly on this: expect the unexpected. The lessons I learned from Coach have guided me in my personal and professional life. I am most grateful that he came to Winslow 50 years ago, a most impressionable time in my life. John Wooden, the legendary UCLA basketball coach, once said, "A good coach can change a game. A great coach can change a life." Coach Farrell was a great coach.
In baseball, he coached baseball.
Yeah.
And he won the championship. And those kids, they'll never forget him.
As Tom achieved success as a coach, he began to diversify and became a high school administrator. And in doing that, his true capability as a personality magician kicked into gear, and he was way more than successful at every place he ever stopped on the administrative travel route. As that developed, again, his presence, his ability to be able to understand group action was just positive and always significant.
The last semester of my senior year, I was ready to give up due to living in a dysfunctional home. I had skipped a class and was sitting alone quietly at one of the tables outside the library, looking out the window. I was literally deciding on quitting school when Mr. Farrell appeared, and he asked if I was okay. At first, I was surprised, as I had gone to 8 schools prior, and no one had stopped to ask if I was okay. His bright outlook and positivity helped me see that it wasn't the end of the world. Because of Tom, I didn't quit school, and he graduated me. I had the grades, but I'm still not sure to this day if I had the required amount of attendance days to graduate. He saw the bigger picture and gave me the springboard I needed to get a good start in life. All of the things that I've been able to accomplish in life is because of his guidance he gave me 40 years ago. I'm not much for organized religion, but I do believe your dad was an earth angel. He had a heart of gold.
I conclude by saying you have paid all of us more than 5 to 1. As each of you enters the winner's circle here tonight, I wish you compassion, friendship, long life, and happiness. I am proud to call you all my friends. Thanks for 4 wonderful, unforgettable years. Thank you.
What? I'm going to do it with Daddy.
Then I'll do it.
Boys, that's nothing for children to play with.
We are approaching Planet Doom's spaceport. Prepare to receive the captives and prepare a special place in the castle.
Oh, Lucas, come out here.
Voltron, defender of the universe.
Harry, too.
Throw the space explorers in the tower dungeon and targets securely.
All I can get is your face.
Well, push this button up here.
Faster, faster, into the arena.
What, Luke?
The slaves from planet Eris have been herded into the stadium, sire. The blue robe beast has never been more enraged and ready to fight. We only await your visit to the royal box to start the festivities.
I first met Tom Farrell as my principal in the early 80s at Darrigo High School. I came to know him well and his wife, Deb, and they entrusted me with their most prized possessions, their boys, Tommy, Lucas, and Nicholas. I babysat for them through the 80s, and then as I was babysitting them, Tom said to me one day, "Wow, you should become an educator. You'd make a great teacher." And that was it, you know. I followed his advice and went to school at Keene, New Hampshire, Keene State, and got my teaching degree, and got my degree in elementary education. I graduated in 1988, and he asked if I wanted to go across country with them to Aspen, Colorado, to be with them as they acclimated to their new location. I was all for it and loved it and went with them. You know, Tom was like my second dad, and Deb my second mom, and I just loved their family and the family dynamic and their values and everything that they stood for, you know. I use in my own household now.
He was born in the summer of his 27th year, coming home to a place he'd never been before. He left yesterday behind him. You might say he was born again. You might say he found the key for every door. When he first came to the mountains, his life was far away, on the road, hanging by a song. But the string's already broken, and he doesn't really care. It keeps changing fast, and it don't last for long. But the Colorado Rocky Mountain High, I've seen it rain and fire in the sky. The shadow from the starlight is softer than a lullaby. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado.
Aspen High School is eagerly embracing a year of change. Like a wave, change takes time to build, responding to the energy around it until it is so powerful you can feel it, experience it, ride it. Aspen has been responding to the needs of its student population, concerned with their well-being, their health, and their potential to lead fulfilling lives. This wave of change is a result of the energy, dedication, and concern of counselors, teachers, parents, and community members. An important result of this concern was a drug and alcohol survey given to the students last year, which has allowed us as a community to face the issues of alcohol and drugs in ourselves and with our children. Although Tom Farrell, Aspen High School's new principal, has an extensive background in drug alcohol prevention and education, he was hired first for his qualities as a principal. Tom explains.
When I came for my interview in April, the drug situation at Aspen High School was not an issue. It wasn't an issue by staff. It wasn't an issue by students. It wasn't an issue by the community members that spoke with me. I do have an extensive background on drug prevention and being involved in lots of drug programs, but that was not why I was hired at Aspen High School. I was hired here, I hope, because I had the credentials and the reputation of being a good principal, not a good drug prevention person, but a good principal. And that was why I was so comfortable in accepting the position too.
Tom Farrell accepted the position as principal to be part of the best high school in America. After reviewing the drug alcohol survey, talking with students, teachers, the school board, and the community, Tom embraces all of the challenges of his principalship, but reveals the need for community support.
For me, the first step is to find out what the community wants. And that sounds a little bit absurd because nobody wants their children to be into drugs. But what needs to happen for me to be effective is I need to hear from the community, because I believe that we teach what the community values. And I say that, I'll try to be a little more brief, but I say that because I believe that if I'm going to be a principal of a school that is constantly saying to our youth, there is no such thing as social use, drug use by teenagers. first of all, violates the law, but more importantly, it affects them health-wise. So if we're going to stand here in front of them in classes Monday through Friday and say that they can't be using drugs, they have to choose not to. They have to choose to be drug-free. But then to have Friday night and Saturday night where there are cake parties going on in the community, where the community is supporting, and really by supporting or by looking the other way, you're supporting. So to have a community that says it's okay to do drugs, then I think that's more damaging than for us to say nothing at all. So if the community says we're tired of what's happening with our youth in Aspen, and we don't want them to be under the influence of drugs as much as they are at all, if that's the directive they give, then we'll clean up the drug problem at Aspen High School. Within 5 years, this will be close to a drug-free school.
Hello, my name is Gretchen Bleiler, and it is an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to be able to share who Tom Farrell has been in my life and who he always will be in my life. I have lived many lives in my life so far, it feels like to me. In my past life, I was a professional snowboarder, a two-time Olympian, and an Olympic silver medalist. And I met Tom Farrell when I was 17 years old, which was at the very beginning of my journey to becoming an Olympian. It was also a time in my life when I was very distracted. I was drinking, I was partying, and I was making bad decisions. One of those bad decisions ended up getting me suspended, which is why I met Tom Farrell. Tom ended up creating with a group of very eclectic kids from high school something called the Captain's Club, which was a sober group. And I wanted nothing to do with the sober group in high school. It was not the coolest thing in the world. But because of my guilt and shame, I said yes, thankfully. Tom had ninja moves, and he absolutely used his ninja moves to take what I thought was going to be punishment, and he turned it into this experience where I got to connect with kids I normally wouldn't have connected with in high school. And Tom used all of his connections, and we went to San Antonio, to a San Antonio Spurs game, and we met in person Shaq and David Robinson. We read the book Into Thin Air and met Neil Beitelman and had him come personally speak to us about that expedition on Everest. We hung out with and met DEA agents. So basically, time where I would have spent continuing to make bad decisions, I was part of a captain's club. I was part of this club where I met people who had lived and were choosing to live extraordinary lives. And Tom helped me see what was possible through that club, that my dream of becoming an Olympic snowboarder was possible. But most importantly, what Tom did for me at a time when I did not have the highest regard for myself, and at a time when I really didn't have adult in-person mentorship or leadership, he showed me that. And he showed me that in the form of showing me kindness, showing me opportunity, and showing me that he valued me, he thought I was important, and he thought I was special. And most importantly, he made me feel that way. And that is a gift. That is the greatest gift, I think, that anyone could receive in this lifetime. And it's something that I carry with me now, that I think about myself, and it's something that I always think of paying forward in my own way. Showing somebody that they are special, showing somebody that they are valued, showing somebody that they are indeed important. So that is who Tom Farrell has always been to me, and who I will, that spirit, that generosity of spirit, I will carry with me for the rest of my life.
Hello to everyone out there who loved and is missing Tom Farrell. My name is Jasmine Liddington, and Tom served as my superintendent while I was growing up in Aspen, Colorado. He also acted as the adult supervisor for a club that I was deeply committed to. Despite having 3 boys of his own, Tom made space in his life to help raise probably more people than we'll ever really know. I was so lucky to be one of the kids he took on. In high school, I was missing a father figure due to my own dad being imprisoned. It was a terrible time in my life, but it would have been worse if it hadn't been for Tom. Tom saw this deeply hurt girl and decided to step in and make her feel special and loved at a time when I felt like the world had turned against me. When other Aspen families stopped letting their kids remain friends with me, Tom included me and invited me to things and made sure I knew it didn't matter what my dad did. What mattered was who I was and that he trusted me. Tom had a special ability to connect with people one-on-one in a way that made them feel like Tom thought they were really special. And even though he did that for so many, I still truly believe that he did see something uniquely special in me. And even now, at 41 years old, that still means a lot to me. To have been seen by him was a gift that many of us feel.
Hi, my name is Teddy Farrell. Grew up in Aspen, sharing a last name with Tom and his family, of course. Now, I wasn't his son. Many people always thought I was, and thought I was a brother to Nick, Thomas, and Luke. Nick and I stopped denying that after quite a while and actually started convincing people we were brothers. Now, while I wasn't Tom's son, per se, he treated me like one, and many others in this community. He really cared for the youth and cared about leading them in the right direction, whether it was through the Captain's Club, AAU basketball. I'll never forget how much of a lunatic he was as a father and a fan in the stands at our high school basketball games. And he cared so much about not only us being great athletes, and obviously his 3 sons were, but also being great people and leading tomorrow's future the way he did was incredible. And he cared about the youth in Aspen, in Maine, in Taiwan, everywhere he went. He really cared about people becoming better people.
Hey Tom, TJ McGinnis here. It's been 24 years since we first met. Time flies. Nick, this is probably take 17. That was a lot easier for me to put into writing what your dad meant to me than actually to express it in words. Tom, when we first met, I was a insecure, young whippersnapper, and craving guidance and coaching, mentorship, and you provided me and paved me a way of how to be a loving father, loving husband, and very successful in your profession and the impact that you can make in others. And I know for a fact I wouldn't be the husband I am today, the father I am, and the success that we have had in certain businesses without your guidance and mentorship and our conversations over the years. I love you. I'm very thankful and grateful that we have met. To the boys, Luke, Tom, and Nick, you have one special father. I know you cherished every moment with him. And Debbie, Tom outkicked his coverage with you. You have one of the biggest hearts and most beautiful person I have ever met. And I cherished our moments and our drives from Aspen to the airport. I miss you. I wish you all the best. I love you.
I remember being at your guys' house one day. Tom and Debbie weren't even there. We're all playing downstairs on a sleepover. Doorbell rings. I'm so comfortable at your house, I run upstairs to answer your door, and it's 7-foot David Robinson. I couldn't believe it. We invited him in. He came down, hung out, sat on the couch. I think he opened and read a Sports Illustrated. It was wild. And then there's all the striker stories, all the basketball stuff, and it goes on and on and on. Luke, to that recently, I mean, every day is a new memory for me. His legacy is lasting and impactful in the Valley. There's still project graduation going on at Basalt High School, Aspen High School, Carbondale, I believe. the anti-drug stuff, the leadership stuff. He taught me how to be a man.
My name is Sam Presti, and Mr. Farrell was a mentor to me as well as a friend. The things that I think about when I think about him, number one is just eternally grateful for his support of me, his thoughtfulness. He had an absolute influence on the path of my life. And really not a day goes by that I don't think about him and his family, and filled with a lot of gratitude for who they are and what they represent. I also think a lot about all these different emails I used to get from him after our games, and they would be kind of random periods of time where he would shoot me an email, and I would always email him right back because I would always think about the time he was taking to support me even after all these years, and the fact that he was still following me, knowing that he has hundreds, probably thousands of other people he's mentored, and students across the world, and he was taking time to email me 20 years later. I also think about just as I've gotten older and gotten to know more about him, just how magnetic his personality was, the legacy he left at all of these schools, all the people he touched, and just his philosophies and his persistence to create and build things and build relationships. I'm really, it's a huge loss because I wish I had asked him some questions, earlier, and I'm always going to regret that.
When I left the United States 5 years ago, I really thought that my career was pretty much over and I was going to get a brief international experience and go back to Maine to retire. And what I discovered was unbelievable, and that is that my career was just beginning, that the best 5 years I've had in my entire 40-plus year career has been right here at the Gaussian American School. We greet the students every day because we want our students to come in with a smile on their face. And we want them to leave at the end of the day walking out, not running out. A high percentage of our students, over 80% of our students, are here until 4:30 every day. They don't leave at 3 o'clock when school's out. And then we have a faculty that's very supportive because we look to hire teachers who have a passion for students. And we hire teachers who want to be part of a team. And so we really push the team concept. And even though we push the teachers very hard, our teachers have fun. They play hard too. We have a nice time as a faculty together. We have a teacher getting married on campus with the students playing the music for the wedding. I mean, it really is family. I know sometimes it's a cliche to say we're a family. This really is my family. I mean, I see this school as my extended family, and they're all very important to me. We flew over with no intentions of coming over here. But within the first 2 days, anybody can tell when they come here that it's a very nice group of people. So in a couple of days, my wife said, "Oh God, this is, it's going to be hard to say no." When the students interviewed me, I can remember going back to the hotel and saying to my wife, saying to Debbie, school's not in very good shape, but you can fix that. But the students really want to be here. The students want a good education and they deserve better. So we said, let's just go over and give it a try. And I like fixing things anyway. So we thought we'd come over for a year or two, and that was 9 years ago. Yeah.
He's a funny guy.
During the opening ceremony of this athletic complex, I was one of the MCs, and my job was to introduce the swimming pool. And Dr. Farrell dared me to jump into the swimming pool after I finished my speech.
He's just got a great look on life. He has these big dreams, and I'm impressed that in the 9 years, he took those dreams and made them into reality. And I think no one else could have done that except for Tom. It's an honor and privilege to have worked with him for this year, and I will miss him.
He really, really does love kids of all ages, and he really wants them to succeed and supports them as much as he possibly can.
He is a man of vision. He's definitely a visionary leader. It's extremely inspiring to try to follow in his footsteps and make this vision come to life.
I know when I leave here that our students are being set up to succeed. The best day of the year for me is when kids come back and say they're doing well at college. When I know that we have done everything we can to put our children ahead of the game when it comes to success and happiness, there's nothing else that matters to me.
It's not always a bed of roses between me and Dr. Farrell. Sometimes we would bang. But as long as you communicate, as long as you are on the right path, you're being reasonable. He listens.
His doors were always open. I would always remember that. It was very easy to go talk to him.
But what I admire is he has the passion. He's a guy, you could see him here at 6:30 in the morning, 6:30 in the afternoon, Saturdays, Sundays, working. And I always say that it takes passion. Education is a passion-driven career.
From his passion, from his wisdom, he's telling the kids that you don't have to be the same, but he's teaching them to be happy. I don't know how we can teach people to be happy, but somehow Dr. Farrell, it is so wisdomly, he can do it.
What are we going to do for Tom at the end of the year? And it's one of those questions, what do you do for Tom? Because he's done so much, for us. It doesn't matter if the child is 5 years old or 15 years old. He gives them all attention and he relates to them all. He relates to all of us as staff. Certainly we welcome anybody new that comes in, but they're going to be big shoes to fill for sure.
He's the best superintendent you can ever ask for, really. He's very genuine, he's very supportive. He's always on the student's side, and I think that all the teachers and all the students, we not only admire him, we respect him as a person. Every morning he's out there giving out high fives to students, and he knows the names of every student here pretty much, and that's something not all superintendents can do.
I decided to come to KS after 27 years in the States as a result of a Skype interview with Tom Farrell. I'm here because of him. In the 45 minutes we Skyped together, I was like, I want to work with this guy because he is such a kid advocate. His decisions are based on the kids and he wants to do the best for the kids. And it's been a pleasure these last 5 years to really work with Tom.
I've worked in many schools for most of my life, and I must say I've never met a superintendent who stands in the front courtyard every day and greets every single student one by one as they come in. He empowers his staff members. He allows us to do our own thing with the collective idea that we're all going to bring these kids up to a better level. He is this school.
Thank you, Dr. Farrell, for all the guidance and advice and all the help that I was in need for. I don't know, I'll be gone too when you're gone, but I'll miss you a lot.
He is a friend, also a father to me. Yeah, he teaches me so much, but he teaches me in a funny way as well. I feel so great to have the chance to work with him.
People often ask me, what's the difference between Taipei American School and Kaohsiung American School? It's Tom Farrell, because when you get an administrator who's so positive and so communicative with people, it makes a huge difference.
All the students, all the parents, and not only them, I think, but also the citizens of this city and the country will respect you because of your achievement. Help this area to have more exposure to the international business and the concept or global citizen.
He is delivering happiness and wisdom to this young generation. That's truly amazing.
I admire him. I told him he brought the school up to Camelot, and I mentioned that word before. We are Camelot because of him.
And I get emotional when I do this, but literally, he's the reason I'm here.
It just turned out to be the perfect match for us.
Education is about people. You too have the responsibility to prepare your students for the big test of life, and it's not the SAT. It's how to fight back when all odds are against you, how to never quit. And we must show students that we will never quit on them. Please do it well. Today I watched the sunset with satisfaction and fond memories. And I anticipate the sunrise with excitement and appreciation. I'm a very fortunate person. So now it's time to live my next chapter, and it stands to be even more exciting and rewarding. And the next chapter includes 2 more characters to the test. Meet my grandchildren, Macy and Peyton. Thank you very much for all that you do.
Lazy yellow moon coming up tonight, shining through the tree. Crickets are singing and lightning bugs are floating on the breeze. Baby, get ready. Across the field where the creek turns back by the old stumble road, I'm gonna take you to a special place that nobody knows. Baby, get ready.
Found a green fish too.
You and me going fishing in the dark, lying on our backs and counting the stars where the cool grass grows. Down by the river in the full moonlight, we'll be falling in love in the middle of the night, just moving slow. Staying the whole night through, it feels so good to be with you. Spring is almost over and the summer's come. Days are getting long. I waited all winter for the time to be right, just to take you along. Baby, get ready. And it don't matter if we sit forever and the fish don't bite. We'll jump in a river and cool ourselves from the heat of the night.
Hope it's not video. I lost my baby.
Baby, get ready. You and me going fishing in the dark, lying on our backs and counting the stars where the cool grass grows. Down by the river in the full moonlight, we'll be falling in love in the middle of the night, just moving slow. Staying the whole night through, it feels so good to be with you and me going fishing in the dark, lying on our backs and counting the stars where the cool grass grows. Down by the river and down by the light, we'll be falling in love in the middle of the night, just moving slow. You and me going fishing in the dark, lying on our backs and counting the stars where the cool grass grows. Down by the river and down by the light, we'll be falling in love in the middle of the night, just moving
Well, hi there. Come right in the old bathroom, huh? Come right in the bathroom, take my movie. Hi there. Can you see everything you want to say? Would you like me to stand up?